Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, unable to move, feeling an oppressive presence in the room? That, dear friends, is the terrifying experience of sleep paralysis. It's a phenomenon that straddles the eerie boundary between the realms of sleep and wakefulness. Picture this: you're lying there, eyes wide open, mind alert, yet your body is as still as a statue. You're trapped within your own form, a prisoner in your own bed. This is not some horror movie plot, but a stark reality for many. Scientists explain this as a glitch in the transition between the rapid eye movement stage of sleep, where dreams are most vivid, and the state of being awake. Your body, you see, is designed to immobilize itself during REM sleep, to prevent you from acting out your dreams. But sometimes the mind wakes up before the body does, resulting in this chilling experience. Now let's delve into 3 chilling tales of sleep paralysis that will make your blood run cold. Imagine waking up, unable to move, and finding a shadowy figure looming over you. This is the tale of a man who found himself in this chilling predicament not just once, but time and time again. In the dark corners of his bedroom, he would see it, a dark figure standing at the foot of his bed. Each time he awoke, frozen in fear, he found it was a little closer than before. The figure seemed to grow, its shapeless form becoming more apparent, more menacing with each visit. This wasn't a dream, it wasn't a figment of his imagination. It was a very real experience, a terrifying spectacle that he could neither understand nor escape. He was trapped in his own body, his own bed becoming the stage for this macabre performance. The Shadow Man, as he came to call it, was his uninvited guest, an unwelcome presence in the sanctity of his sleep. He would try to scream, to call out for help, but no sound would escape his paralyzed lips. He would attempt to move, to flee from the looming darkness, but his body refused to obey. All he could do was lay there, his heart pounding in his chest, his eyes wide with terror as the Shadow Man stood there, watching, waiting. Each episode seemed to last an eternity, but in reality it was only a few minutes. The Shadow Man never moved, it never spoke, it just stood there, a silent sentinel in the night, its presence enough to send waves of terror coursing through him. The man sought help, turning to sleep researchers and neurologists in a bid to understand what was happening to him. They diagnosed him with sleep paralysis, a condition where the mind wakes up before the body, leading to a temporary state of immobility and often accompanied by vivid hallucinations. But to him, it was more than a medical condition. It was a living nightmare, one that he was forced to relive night after night. The Shadow Man was his constant companion, a silent specter that haunted his dreams and shattered his peace. The figure never touched him, but the sheer terror of its presence is a horror he'll never forget. Our next tale is about an entity known in folklore as the Old Hag. A chilling apparition from the depths of one's nightmares, this creature has been reported in countless tales of sleep paralysis, but for one woman this wasn't just a tale, it was a terrifying reality she had to face night after night. In the dead of night, she would awaken, unable to move, a heavy pressure weighing down on her chest. Struggling to breathe, she would look down to see an old hag, a ghastly figure sitting on her. This was no ordinary old woman. Her eyes were lifeless, her skin pallid and wrinkled, and her expression one of pure malice. The hag was not just a silent observer, she would lean in, her face inching closer with each passing second, her grotesque features becoming more pronounced. The woman could see the lines of age and wickedness etched into her face, the hollowness of her eyes, and the thin, cruel smile that never seemed to leave her lips. With each episode, the hag's face grew more terrifying, as though feeding off her fear. The woman could feel her life force draining away, her breath becoming shallow, her heart pounding in her chest. It was as if the hag was drawing delight from her terror, growing more horrific with every gasp she took. The paralysis would eventually lift, leaving the woman gasping for breath, drenched in sweat, her heart racing. But the relief was short-lived, for she knew that the hag would return night after night to torment her in her sleep. The woman was left gasping for air, the image of the hag's horrifying face etched into her memory. This tale of the Old Hag is a chilling reminder of the terrors that sleep paralysis can bring. A horrifying entity born from the depths of our subconscious, a cruel tormentor in the silent hours of the night. Our final tale takes us beyond the earth into the realm of the extraterrestrial. Imagine a man, a regular guy just like any of us, who one night finds himself trapped in the clutches of sleep paralysis. As he lies in bed, frozen and helpless, he is suddenly gripped by an overwhelming sensation of being lifted from his bed. He tries to scream, to thrash, to resist, but his body betrays him, remaining motionless and silent. In this eerie silence, he sees them. The aliens, they are not like us. Their skin is grey, their eyes are enormous and black, and they communicate without speaking. He watches, petrified, as they guide him through the walls of his room, up into the cold, star-studded expanse of the night sky. He finds himself aboard their spaceship, a place of sterile, cold metal and blinding lights. He feels the chill of the examination table beneath him, the sharp sting of their instruments probing his skin. He wants to fight, to escape, but his body is still bound by the invisible chains of sleep paralysis. He is a prisoner within his own form, forced to endure the unspeakable without the ability to resist or cry out for help. As quickly as it began, it's over. He's back in his bed, drenched in cold sweat. The aliens have vanished. The spaceship is gone. But the echoes of their silent communication, the memory of their cold, unfeeling touch, linger in his mind. The man is left with more than just a terrifying memory. He's left with a lingering fear of sleep. Each night, as he shuts his eyes, he dreads the return of the paralysis, the return of the aliens. His dreams are no longer a refuge, but a doorway to the unknown, to the terrifying possibilities that lurk in the darkness of the cosmos. His terrifying experiences left him with a lingering fear of sleep, a fear of the unknown that lurks in the darkness. These tales, while chilling, are all experiences of sleep paralysis. We've heard 3 spine-tingling stories today, each different in its haunting details, yet all bound by the common thread of sleep paralysis. The Shadow Man, the Old Hag, and the Alien Abduction. Each story has left an indelible mark on our understanding of this sleep disorder. We first delved into the eerie tale of the Shadow Man, a silent spectre that lurks in the darkness, instilling an unspeakable fear in those who encounter him. The sheer terror of this apparition, silent yet oppressive, is a chilling reminder of how our minds can create terrifying scenarios when caught in the throes of sleep paralysis. Next, we explored the unnerving encounter with the Old Hag, an ancient entity that exerts a suffocating weight on the unsuspecting sleeper. This oppressive sensation, coupled with the inability to move or cry out, creates a petrifying experience that lingers long after waking. Lastly, we ventured into the disturbing narrative of the Alien Abduction, a violation of personal space that leaves the victim feeling helpless and terrified. The sensation of being lifted, probed, and examined by otherworldly beings is a stark demonstration of how sleep paralysis can blur the lines between reality and nightmare. These stories, while chilling, are not unique. They are shared experiences, echoes of the hallucinations brought on by sleep paralysis, a phenomenon that affects many people. It's a strange and unsettling intersection of the waking and sleeping worlds, where our deepest fears can take on a terrifyingly tangible form. But it's crucial to remember that these are just that, hallucinations. Sleep paralysis, while unsettling, is a common and typically benign phenomenon. It's a hiccup in the brain's sleep-wake cycle, a momentary glitch that, while terrifying, is ultimately harmless. Remember, sleep paralysis is a common and usually harmless phenomenon, but for those who have experienced it, the terror can be all too real.